Welcome to This Explainer. Look, every single day we're bombarded with the absolute magic of artificial intelligence, right? But today we're going to dig a little deeper. We're uncovering the hidden dynamics of corporate power that are actually shaping this revolution. We're moving way past those clever chatbots to see exactly how this tech is built, who really holds the keys, and most importantly, how we might govern it for the benefit of literally everyone. Let's get into it. So here's the billion-dollar question. Maybe the most crucial question about the technology transforming our world right now. Who actually controls the future of AI? Like, is it independent developers? Is it governments? Or is it just a handful of massive corporations? Well, to answer that, we really have to look at the physical and incredibly expensive foundation of artificial intelligence. To unpack this whole thing, we'll quickly walk through 5 main areas: the new AI empire, the hidden costs of intelligence, the reality of a winner-takes-most market, the AI dealism framework, and finally, governing our AI future.
Part 1. The new AI empire. What lies beneath the surface? You know, we usually only interact with the shiny, magical front end of these AI tools, the little text boxes that generate a poem or write a chunk of code in literally seconds. But today, we need to explore the massive iceberg of infrastructure that's operating just underneath that sleek surface.
This perfectly captures journalist Karen Howe's central thesis from her deeply researched book, Empire of AI. AI isn't just this weightless software floating magically in the cloud. It is a vast empire built on intensely physical foundations. Her reporting reveals that the entire AI boom depends on these hidden infrastructures. And that reliance? Well, it's a rapidly centralizing power into the hands of just a few massive tech giants. Section 2, Hidden Costs of Intelligence. All right. Let's pull back the curtain on those physical foundations and look at what it actually takes to manufacture artificial intelligence. Because, as it turns out, making a machine look like it's thinking requires an absolutely staggering amount of resources.
50 million kilowatt hours. Let that sink in for a second. According to the Stanford Emerging Technology Review, that is the estimated electricity needed just to train a single foundation model, like GPT-4. To put that into perspective for you, that's roughly the annual energy use of 4,500 average American homes. And the wild part? That massive cost is incurred before a single user even types a prompt.
So yeah, this AI iceberg has some seriously hidden depths. Beyond the sheer energy and the millions of gallons of water required to cool those gigantic data centers, there's also a distinctly human cost. Researchers point out a pretty uncomfortable reality about the AI supply chain. There is a massive reliance on low-paid workers in the Global South. These folks are manually labeling data and moderating highly toxic, psychologically taxing content, all just to make sure the chatbot we use is safe and functional.
Section 3. Winner takes most market. Now, all these massive physical, environmental, and human requirements naturally escalate into a pretty dangerous economic reality. Because when something is this outrageously expensive to build, the whole market structure inherently shifts.
Since foundation models are so ridiculously resource-intensive, power just naturally concentrates. The Stanford report noted that in 2024, private investment in AI startups hit a record $150.79 billion. These staggering capital requirements completely box out smaller entrepreneurs. And why should we care? Well, it creates this winner-takes-most dynamic. We're left with a few deep-pocketed tech monopolies dictating the entire future of the technology, which obviously limits diverse choices and competition for the rest of us. This quote, straight from the Stanford report, highlights how the sheer scale of compute required is entirely boxing out independent academic research. When even our top research universities combined literally cannot afford the computing power to train these models, the direction of AI development becomes dictated almost entirely by corporate profit motives instead of pure independent scientific inquiry. And this massive resource gap, it's causing a serious academic brain drain. Right now, over 70% of new AI PhD graduates are abandoning academia to work in the corporate sector. We're witnessing a staggering shift in talent, but it makes sense, right? The industry can offer the salaries, the crazy compute power, and the sheer scale of resources that universities just cannot possibly match. The problem is when the capital, the compute, and the brightest minds are all locked inside a few giant corporations, the entire ecosystem suffers. This kind of centralization stifles diverse startup competition. It drains universities of the very experts we need to independently audit these systems. And worst of all, it risks prioritizing rapid deployment and quick profits over long-term safety and careful alignment. Part 4, the AI-idealism framework. Okay, pivoting away from the kind of bleak reality of centralized control, let's explore a structured, actually hopeful path forward. How do we actually fix this whole thing?
Instead of just dwelling on apocalyptic doom scenarios, Dr. Nicholas Lidstromer gives us this really constructive, practical vision called AI idealism. So Lidstromer, he's a medical doctor and an AI researcher, argues that we shouldn't just be regulating AI after things go off the rails. No. We need a framework where AI systems are actively designed, right from the ground up, to strengthen democracy, promote fairness, and actually support long-term human development.
By following his steps, Lidstromer suggests we can actually transform AI. It doesn't have to be a tool for corporate domination. It can be a force for collective good. But getting there requires a massive mindset shift. We have to move away from pure existential fear and lean heavily into proactive design, making absolutely sure these systems are governed by shared democratic values and not just unilateral corporate decisions. Which brings us to Section 5, governing our AI future. Because to achieve that ideal, we absolutely must fundamentally rethink how we regulate this tech right now, today. We are truly at a crossroads here. Right now, our current trajectory leans heavily towards centralized corporate control, hiding all those environmental and human costs behind this veil of profit-driven efficiency. But there is an alternative: human-centered democratic governance. This approach demands actual public accountability, fully transparent infrastructure, and a laser focus on genuine social progress. And hey, we are already seeing some of this governance in action. States like Colorado, Texas, and California are jumping in and passing local AI legislation. But this fragmented, state-by-state approach acts a bit like a chaotic policy lab. If anything, it really highlights the urgent, growing need for unified, democratic guardrails at the federal and honestly global levels to manage this technology effectively. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. As AI integrates into quite literally every single facet of our lives, economic power is consolidating faster than it ever has before. And it's ultimately up to us to decide, are we going to allow AI to just build an unchecked corporate empire? Or will we step up and demand the proactive, democratic governance needed to ensure a truly human-centered future? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And hey, keep questioning the systems being built all around us.